Hey guys, welcome back to Rossoneri TV. I'm Gio and I'm here for the match preview of AC Milan against Juventus. It is round 11 of the 2017-18 Serie A season, and this big match will be played tomorrow, October 28th, Saturday. That is at 6 p.m. Italian time at the San Siro. Whenever we speak about Milan-Juventus, of course, usually no other massive match comes to our mind besides the Derby della Madonnina in Italy. And once again, it will be one of the most exciting, at least that's what the predictions are saying, matches of the season. And not only this season, but of past years, of course, as Milan have actually sold out this game. It is going to be a sellout crowd at the San Siro for this massive fixture, and honestly speaking, just as much as you guys, I cannot wait to get to watch this match. It's going to be very exciting. Of course, Juventus, the reigning champions of the Serie A, with a lot of weapons coming to the San Siro. Last season, we actually played them 4 times in all competitions, and we came out victorious twice, and Juventus, on the other hand, also won 2 games. So it was a split decision last season, and I'm expecting a very tight match here once again tomorrow at the San Siro. Despite all the difficulties that Milan have been having this season, I still believe that it's going to be one of those matches where, you know, anything could happen. We saw it last season when Milan was definitely not the favorite against Juventus the first time we played them. And out of nowhere, Locatelli scored that screamer of a goal to beat Buffon and land Milan the 3 points. So if it happened once, why can't it happen again? That's pretty much my reasoning behind this match. Of course, Juventus going into this match as favorites. Definitely favorites, given the fact that they are the superior team. And of course, history in recent years showed that Juventus are becoming on top at the end of the day more times than Milan. Juventus have a very frightening record, of course, with this Halloween spirit, I guess you could say, of 8 wins in 10 matches, 1 draw and 1 loss to complete that record. And really, they have been firing on all cylinders, especially as of late, scoring 10 goals in their past 2 matches, beating Udinese 6-2 and Spal 4-1. Definitely this is a much different season for Juventus, because you would usually see them on top of the table at this point in the season in previous years, but right now they are facing heavy competition, and in my opinion it is probably one of their toughest seasons to date in recent years, as there's so many good caliber teams giving them a run for their money, like we could see with Napoli currently in first place, still undefeated with 9 wins in 10 matches, and Inter as well right above them by 1 point. Lazio tied with them on 25. So a lot of teams currently fighting for those top positions. Unfortunately, Milan is not in those top 4 positions, and that was our main goal at the beginning of the season, to get back to winning ways and of course hopefully challenge for a Champions League spot. A reminder that the top 4 at the end of the season make it directly to the Champions League, and Milan right now is trailing by 9 points. So that is a lot of points if you ask me. All the other teams are winning, not losing much. So Milan need to start doing that, and they did start this this week actually. Earlier, a few days ago, against Chievo at the Bentegodi, when they beat them 4-1. A very convincing win. 4 goals, like I said, we hadn't seen that in a long time at Milan. The only other time I could recall this season that we scored 4 or more goals was against Austria Vienna. Don't really think we scored 4 goals or more in any other fixture this season. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was a positive start to the week, and hopefully it will end that way as well tomorrow. Milan finally came through. They scored lots of goals. I spoke all about it in the match review a few days ago. But finally, we start to see some glimpses, some signs that this Milan could still be able to gel. And of course, it's still very early times in the season, only 10 matches in. But as you could tell, all the other teams up there have already started their season on a very positive note, so there's no excuse whatsoever for Milan to be in this position at the moment after spending so much money. But this is the situation, and right now we have to play the game of catch-up. So we have to catch up to these other teams, and the only way to do this is by beating them, and of course, hopefully building a sequence of positive results. Now, I do want to speak about the formation because, of course, Bonucci, once again, the big X of this match, will not be playing due to a suspension in which he received a red card against Genoa 2 games ago. And, of course, that ban, for those that don't know yet, is valid for 2 games. So he already missed the first game against Chievo during the midweek fixture, and the second game is exactly this one against Juventus. Of course, Bonucci is very disappointed to be missing this game, but at the end of the day, it is his fault for going into the challenge in that fashion. And another person that was very disappointed was actually Max Allegri. He said in his press conference that he would have hoped to face Bonucci. It would have been a very interesting, experience if he did play, but that will not be the case, and that is why there will be some changes in the formation and lineup based from what we saw even against Chievo. So let's take a look at the probable starting 11 here for Milan, as Milan will actually be going with this 3-4-2-1. Same formation that we went with against Chievo, and the back three might be composed of Zapata, Musacchio, Romagnoli, and of course Donnarumma starting in net, with no surprises there. In the midfield, we got Borini, Kessi, Biglia, and Ricardo Rodriguez, and right behind Kalinic, which once again might be chosen by Montella. Not personally, I don't understand it, but Suso and Çalhanoğlu once again will be reconfirmed. So that front trio, I guess you could call it, will most likely be the same one that we saw against Chievo. There might also be a few differences, a few changes from what is actually posted right now, as you could see in the visual. The back three might have a little few changes. Zapata might get, once again, the confirmation like you could see now. But instead of Musacchio, Ricardo Rodriguez might actually be slotted back in the back three. Also in the midfield, we might be seeing Abate replacing Borini on the right side, and Borini playing on the left side, of course, in place of Ricardo Rodriguez, and everything else will pretty much be the same. In my opinion, I think the back three needs to be composed of Musacchio, Romagnoli, and Ricardo Rodriguez. Simply, I don't see the reason why I would put, or Montella would put, Zapata in this match. It is a very crucial match, which we cannot afford to make any mistakes, and Zapata, unfortunately, I keep repeating it over and over again, but some people don't seem to understand that he's very mistake prone. He makes lots of mistakes, and personally, I will not want to risk playing such a player in such an important fixture where one mistake could change the outcome of the match. Zapata did have a good game against Genoa, yes, but that was Genoa. This is Juventus. You're going to be facing the likes of Higuain, Dybala, and so forth. So, definitely much tougher than playing against Genoa. You got so many attacking players, so many players that can make the difference. Cuadrado, Mandzukic, other players that I haven't yet mentioned. And personally, I'm not confident enough to have Zapata playing in the back three. But I would like to know your thoughts on that in the comment section. So make sure you let me know what you guys think. All in all, it's not the best lineup. It's not the best possible lineup that we could put out there. Of course, we have many players on injury. Bonaventura, Conti, just to name a few. But based on the players that we have at our disposal, the changes I would really make is Musacchio playing instead of Zapata with Romagnoli and Rodriguez on by his side, and up front instead of Kalinic I would put Andre Silva. Those are the main changes I would make to this lineup. And of course, if Ricardo Rodriguez does slot back in that back three, I would put Abate on the right and Borini on the left side of that midfield. So let me know your thoughts. I want to know what you guys think about this match going in forward tomorrow. Very important match. Give me your thoughts on the formation, on the lineup, your prediction for the scoreline, who's going to score. Let me know all of that in the discussion in the comments section. I will read your comments for the next 5 to 10 minutes as per usual. So let's get into it. PJ7 says, I'm a massive Juve fan, but I hope for a classic. Good luck to both teams, but for me, Forza Juve. X Lee says that we are pretty nervous about this game and we're not expecting too much. Personally, I don't know about this match. I mean, obviously Juventus is favorites to win this match. Obviously, they have shown much more than Milan this season. Even though they have lost a match so far against Lazio, in every other game they have been very convincing. And the only positive I can really take out of this fixture for tomorrow is that we are playing at a sellout San Siro, and hopefully the crowd, the Milan fans, will play the difference tomorrow in this match, and hopefully they will push the team to at least get a point out of it and walk out of this match undefeated. But we'll see exactly what happens tomorrow. Christy says, our hope are Suso and Akan Çalhanoğlu right behind Kalinic. Suso, like I said so many times this season, possibly the best player so far in our team, just not even for the number of goals and assists that he's accumulated so far, but just for the number of positive performances that he's had compared to his teammates. Çalhanoğlu, very happy that he scored last game, but he needs to step up the quality of his game as well, because I believe that he could definitely do a lot more. We haven't seen it that much this season, but I believe that, you know, Çalhanoğlu, with time, he could adapt to the game in the Serie A. And of course, this is all based on whether he will be getting multiple starts with Montella or not, or if he will be coming off the bench once Bonaventura returns to the lineup. So Çalhanoğlu is one of those players that needs to make the difference. Besides Suso, we cannot just rely on Suso. Tomorrow, Suso, in my opinion, will definitely be man-marked by Juventus. They will probably be putting 2 guys on him just because they know that if they shut down Suso, most likely the rest of the team will shut down as well. So, the Juve game plan is pretty simple if you ask me. So, we'll see exactly what happens tomorrow. But more than just Suso, every other player on this team needs to step up. Not only Çalhanoğlu, but also the people, the players in the midfield as well. Olufemi says it as well. I feel that Silva should start ahead of Kalinic. Same thing like I said. A lot of people here in this chat are actually questioning once again the confirmation of Kalinic in the lineup instead of Andre Silva. And I completely agree with you guys. Like I said, personally, I don't understand why Kalinic is starting again. Yes, he scored against Chievo in the past game, but we paid so much money for Andre Silva. He's been scoring goals for Milan in the Europa League. He still hasn't scored in the Serie A, but I think it's time to actually give him a start against a proper side. And I simply don't understand why Montella, even after 10 games in, cannot give him full confidence to start in the Serie A. Danny Markovi says, Joe, what do you predict for the match? Like I said at the beginning, I'm predicting a very tight match. Even though Juventus is a superior team, the favorites to win this match, maybe the San Siro crowd will play a factor in it. So I think I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I know it's a bit ambitious, but I'm going to go for that. And who knows, maybe Milan could pull another upset like we did last time at the San Siro against Juventus. Aniket says, Gio, would Bonucci be in the dugout with the team? I want him to celebrate a goal. Cutrone's stoppage time winner with the team. Usually suspended players are not able to stay in the dugout. We saw it last time. Bonucci was in the stands watching the match with Fassone and Mirabelli. I don't know if he's allowed. My guess is not, that he's not allowed. But if that would be the case, your scenario will most likely be a very iconic scenario to watch over and over again. Olufemi says, Gio, you said it all. Our most key players are out. Bonaventura, Conti. We need absolute concentration and hunger from the guys tomorrow to even set a chance of getting anything out of the game. And I completely agree with you there. You know, against Juventus, any opponent needs the almost, if not perfect match against Juventus in order to come out victorious. We saw it in that match, Juventus-Lazio. Lazio was actually trailing 1-0 in that match, and they came back in an extraordinary fashion. And really, they had the perfect match. Everything was going well for them, as well as that penalty shot that was saved in the last moment there by the Lazio keeper. So everything was going for them. You need a bit of luck as well in these types of games, that's for sure. But concentration, hunger are definitely qualities that Milan cannot do without tomorrow, as well as determination if they want to come out with something in this match. Mustafa says, Gio, tomorrow Montella is going to play with this 3-4-2-1, but in my opinion, last match, this tactic looked like a 4-2-3-1. I hope Milan show and play with spirit. I remember in 2014, we lost despite playing well. Yeah, I mean, that tactic, I saw it too at one point. We were playing very, you know, change of tactics at one point. Definitely saw that. The 4-man in the back with Calabria coming back and Rodriguez playing on the other side. So, I mean, definitely we could start with this 3-4-2-1, but like you said, if we could interchange with different modules and confuse our opponents, not only tomorrow, but in general, that could definitely be something that Milan could use to their advantage. So hopefully, you know, they get to use these different tactics in the long run, but most importantly, they will need to adapt to them before even attempting them, because oftentimes we saw lots of changes in formations, but they really had nothing positive going for them because players were getting confused and they couldn't adapt to them properly. Safe Najar says, we can't play with 3 at the back against Juve. Players like Dybala and Higuain will mess us up, and I completely agree with your comments so far. We must return to a 4 at the back, like a 4-4-2. We must not give them any space. You know, a 4-4-2 is actually a very good formation against Juventus. You're clogging that defense, you're clogging that midfield, you're not giving them much room to move. And even though a 3-4-2-1, you know, the midfield is not super strong because you're not playing with a 5-man midfield there. So, you know, tracking back, Milan could still have some problems. But I definitely agree with you. And going back to Mustafa's comment there with a 4-2-3-1, because it looked like it last time around against Chievo, you know, that might be a solution to use against Juventus, because 3 at the back, I completely agree with you. It's very risky, especially if you have a guy like Zapata in there, which more than likely he might be starting tomorrow. So if Montella could change that to a 4-man defense, that would be, I think, better for us. Anika says, is Bia not 100%? Well, we saw him playing, and oftentimes he was a bit tired. Even though, you know, he's trying to get consecutive passes going on. you know, at times he looks very tired. So maybe instead of B, I would even start Locatelli. He says, I'm worried about the midfield getting overrun. As far as the lineup goes, I pull all the available academy and Italian players because they didn't make a lot of difference tomorrow. Not too sure about that. I think we need our best weapons, no matter if they're Italian or not, tomorrow. I don't think I would go for the academy players against a very experienced Juventus side. We have a donation here, £2 from Milan and Celtic per sempre. They say keep up the good work, Gio Forza Milan. Thank you so much for that donation. Aniket also says, Gio, why isn't Abate getting any game time? He was really good last season just before that injury. Gomez is better than Zapata on the right as well of the central defensive lineup. I think Abate, like I said before, might actually be starting in this game. So we might be actually seeing Abate finally getting some playing time tomorrow. Mostly due to the fact that Calabria is out injured. But yeah, I don't know about Gomez starting instead of Zapata. I don't think Montella is really considering Gomez as part of his plans, and that also includes Paletta. We barely at all, maybe we haven't seen them at all this season playing for Milan, so they're definitely out of the plans in my opinion. The Psychics, I guess. We must win against Juventus and recover the mood this year. The Scudetto, it's for Napoli. I definitely hope that Napoli comes out with the Scudetto instead of Juventus. It is a must-win match, not only because we are playing Juventus, but like I said, we are playing the game of catch-up, and we need as many wins as possible to get as close as possible to that top 4. Just a few more questions or comments before I sign off. Dimitri says, I just hope that the team is going to play like a team and not like some bunch of random players put together for a football match. Without the sloppiness and with the creativity, we can hope for a good result. And oftentimes we have seen Milan actually playing as 11 individuals. Unfortunately, we did not really see them play as a team many times. And, you know, if you have to beat Juventus, you have to play as a team. There's no other way to do it. And you cannot be sloppy. And I'm referring as well to that horrible pass from Kessie. Not only that, but, you know, these little things that I spoke about last match in the match review. Little mistakes like the one that we saw from Kessie with that back pass to Birsa to gift Chievo a goal. We can definitely not do that against Juventus, or else we will lose the match instantly. Say says it is really disappointing how we play great against the top teams like Inter and Roma, yet we don't get results. I'm sick of it. For me, we should have got at least 4 points from these games. Well, I think the Inter match we could have easily won. Roma, we just gave up. I don't know why, out of nowhere. But definitely, I don't think that we should have walked away from those 2 matches with 0 points. The Inter match we could have won. The Roma match, unfortunately, if we played a full 90 minutes, which I repeat over and over again, Milan need to start playing full 90 minutes and not only portions of games like we saw so many times. You know, we would obviously be getting more points than what we have at the moment if we play the entire 90 minutes rather than just playing one half of great football and the other half of sloppiness, bad passes, and so forth, laziness, especially from the rest of the players. But that's it, you know, that's what it is. Teams like Inter, Roma, Juve, Napoli, it's exactly what they wait for. Even though you're playing a game superior than them, they wait for your mistakes to capitalize, and that's exactly what we saw against Inter and Roma. That's what makes great teams. You know, sometimes just because you're a great team does not necessarily mean that you have to play great every match. On the contrary, you have to find those keys, those reasons, those little mistakes from your opponents and capitalize from them. And that's how they win games, even though they don't play better than us. That's exactly how they gain the points and we lose them. When am I going live tomorrow? I'm going to be going live after the match. I'm actually going to Trocharos to watch the game with the Milan Club Montreal. If you guys are in Montreal, I strongly suggest you guys to join us at Bar Trocharo. All the details could be found on Twitter. If you go on my Twitter account, Rossoneri TV, of course, I retweeted the event information on there. And also, if you want more information, you can clearly go to at ACM Club MTL on Twitter. That's at ACM Club MTL. And all the information for that viewing party will be there. So if you're in Montreal, make sure to join us at Bar Trocharo tomorrow. That's gonna wrap it up, guys, for this match preview. Thank you all for joining me today. Of course, big fixture tomorrow. Hopefully we'll get the best of it. Don't forget that if you haven't had a chance to leave a comment, you guys could still do that. So make sure you leave it in the discussion. And also don't forget to leave a like on the video and subscribe to Rossoneri TV to stay updated with everything going on at the club. Thank you for watching yet again. This has been Gio signing off from Rossoneri TV. And as always, Forza Milan.